Hi there. What I'm going to show you today is how to inspect a website's contrast utilizing the Google Chrome extension Eyedropper. This is especially helpful if you're viewing a website that you didn't create or you don't have access to being able to change the contrast, but you want to be able to make note of any issues that arise. So the first thing that I would tell you to do is if you don't already have the eyedropper tool, you can simply just Google the words eyedropper Google, and you will get the eyedropper option in the Chrome Web Store. When you click on that, you're going to be able to add the extension. If you have a number of extensions, as I do, you may need to go into your extensions and manage them and turn some of them off so that you can see the eyedrop in the extension list. Your extensions will just run on the back end instead of having the buttons available to you. I also use the Web AIM Contrast Checker. This is just a website. I have it bookmarked here so it's easy for me to get to. So we're going to get started. When you use the eyedrop tool, once you have it in your extension, it's really simple. You're simply going to open up your eyedropper. You're going to click eyedropper, mine is defaulted there, and click the area that says pick color from website. Once you click that, you're just going to put your arrow where you want the color to be picked. You're not going to place the box, but rather the arrow. So for instance, in this case, I'm picking the purple where my initials are, and that's going to add that color to your palette. And the last one that you pick is the one that's going to be at the end of your palette row. You can save this palette. You can also just delete this palette and start over if you get to where you have too many colors and you don't want to deal with it. Once you have the palette, you can go to the Web AIM Contrast Checker. Now, the nice part about this being a Google extension is that I don't have to keep going back and forth between the websites. I have my color on my palette, and I'm going to select the color that I want to look at. And in the top box, it says selected. I'm going to copy the color identifier. And this is my background color in this particular example because the purple was background to the white. And I'm not going to worry about the foreground color right now. I'm just going to click enter. And now you can see that this is the color that the box is using. And as you can see, black is not necessarily the best color to use when typing into that purple. I can simply scroll my foreground color, or in this case, my text color, to find what in the shades from black to white are acceptable. To get even more into detail though, what I'm going to do is pick that white that is used on this website, just for the sake of the example, and I'm going to put that identifying number in here. And as you can see, it is the same white. So now I can see that WCAG AA passes. WCAG AAA for small or normal text does not pass. That's good news. If I wanted to make sure that the information that my students have access to is accessible from a contrast perspective, again, I can use my eyedropper, and I'm going to just select the color of text here. And I'm going to go ahead and also select this orange. And I'm going to select the text color. If I can. Now I'm going to go to my web checker. And again, all of these are what are called foreground colors because they're the text. So my background color is going to be that F color. And my foreground color, so the first thing I'm going to check is that text color. That gives me a contrast ratio of 5.14 to 1. This passes except for WCAG AAA with that normal text. So this text in the center here, just the typical text, that would maybe bring me a little bit of concern, but it doesn't pass WCAG AA. If I'm looking at the green that is in the title, that does pass for WCAG. So that's really good news for all of that. And then the last one I'll check on that page is the orange. And this does pass except for the normal text for WCAG AAA. There is, in these templates, there is also some tables. I've noticed this in a couple of templates. So I'm going to select both of the colors that are represented in this table. So this first color, and then this second color. And now those are my background colors. So I'm going to push that down, copy my color identifier, and we can see that that color passes with that black writing. If I really wanted to get into the weeds, I could try to click the color of the text. Text is quite small, so I'm not confident that I'm going to get it exactly. And I'll put that in my foreground color. And we can see that passes again, except for the normal text. So maybe this would be a little bit of a concern. I might escalate this to somebody who has access to the developer information to actually check that that color is correct. And then the last one, or the second color that I did in that top table, grab that identifier, and that passes as well. So the good news is all of that passed. Another template that is very popular in this same color scheme has the orange background with the white writing. So I'm going to check that, grab that color code. That is my background color. And now we can see that we get fails across the board on this. So when you get a fail, the nice thing is if you're just going to be making a recommendation, is you can use the slider tool to either change the background color or change the foreground color, or you can change both. In this case, I am going to assume that I don't want to go into a lighter orange. Scroll my orange down until my fails become passes. And maybe if I want to stay as light as possible, I'm just going to wait until I get all of the WCAG 2 passes. So that is the new color of the orange that would be recommended. If I wanted to keep that orange, but find a color that I could text with, then I would scroll my slider for the foreground color, or in this case, my text color, until my fails turn into passes. And that is the new color that passes for WCAG contrast. And if I was making a recommendation to somebody, I'd probably give them both of these alternatives so that they could choose for themselves. That is how you will use the Google Eyedrop extension and the WebAIM contrast checker. Thanks and have a great day.